Welcome to Grawlix Night.
Sorry.
Welcome to
The sax is back.
The sax is back. I knew you'd be excited for that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. Hey, it's the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Jasper.
Jasper. Hi.
Hello, sir.
You're the unusual one. You're the unusual. You're the one who's not.
Odd one.
Let me
We have
rephrase.
four now. That's
You're
even
the one-
number.
You're the one that's usually not here. You're new-ish.
Yes.
So, hi. How are you? Welcome
Good,
to the
you?
show.
Good. You good?
Good. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
you feel comfortable with that not at all awkward little bit there.
Yeah.
Savannah, man, you guys are right on top with the comments, which I hope means we're going to get the comments fast. Vampires. I love vampires. Yes. She also says, hi, Jasper.
What up?
Yes. So we discussed it at the end of last episode, which means Savannah didn't listen to the last episode. Man, last episode was great. Just turn this off and go listen to the. No, I'm kidding.
Sip.
Last episode was a lot of fun, but at the end, because previously Melanie and I was like, hey, October's coming soon. And that means Halloween. We should start talking about like horror movies and stuff. And then Jesse threw out the great idea at the end of last week to, hey, how about we like pick a movie monster or a horror theme type thing? Each of us can watch something, anything involving that. And then we'll talk about it on that week's show. And this week, it's vampires.
Or,
Man,
if you prefer, the vampire.
vampire.
Come with me now.
Come with me. Yes.
Paul says, man, Paul says Jasper's out of the Husker room.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You went from red to blue. It's a blue wave up in there.
Oh, I vote blue.
A lot of good it does you in a red state.
Yeah. You're welcome, Nebraska. You win every time.
Jasper has a new setup. If he doesn't have to really get into it if he doesn't want to, but he's got a new setup. I'm excited for it.
Nope. Me and the Fonz here in the new house and got
Hey,
my
okay.
own studio. Whoa.
Things are good.
So, in addition to vampire, okay, how the vampire thing will go, how I envision it going, what will actually happen, we'll see. That was definitely a sigh. What's going on, Melanie? How are you?
Huh?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm fine. I drank a monster, like a pounded a monster,
Ooh,
and I'm just kind of like, we need to get going because
I
I'm
know.
like, I need to do stuff.
What you need not to do is drink a monster.
Maybe pace the monster next week.
Yeah.
I can tell before. So we always
Maybe
listen.
just take a sip.
At this point, I think the people that tune in and watch us live, I think they know that when we say 8, we mean like 8:20, 8:30.
We say it like that too. We like just get higher pitched when we
Higher
say the time. He's like, well, "I'll see you later." Oh, for lunch? How about 11:45?
So before the stream, though, we're sitting here like getting ready, and the whole time I could tell Melanie's just like,
She's like, "Why are we
that's
not
okay.
started
That's
yet?"
okay. Well, Jasper showed us his new gear, and Melanie's like, yeah, so okay, let's
Yeah. She was just pacing in the background.
She's like, yeah, that's neat. Let's go.
Sorry.
She's like a big game cat.
She's just breathing.
Pacing.
So what I was saying is how I envision this vampire thing going is, with the exception of Jasper, because he didn't know about the topic, we each watched a different vampire thing, not the same thing, which will be an interesting way to go about our like a discussion. And I figured we'll each talk about it, whether it was good or whether it sucked. And that was a vampire pun. Yep. It's even cooler when you draw attention to it, huh?
7 times cooler. I don't know. That's bad.
And then after that, we're like, I think we could, we'll like pitch. In this case, we all watched a vampire thing. I thought we could like take our like, what are these versions of the vampire? Like, what are their powers? And like, have a little fight and see which one we think would win out of them.
Okay.
Did any of our vampires sparkle in the sunlight? Because I think they're going to lose if they did.
God. No sparkles.
Oh, and then of course after that we have news to react at. Not a whole lot. I tried to keep it lighter this week because last week went way long.
What are we talking about?
Welcome to the show, Melanie. We're talking about vampires.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I was reading comments. Go ahead.
Oh, Savannah. Okay, good. Who wants to go first?
With the vampire shows?
Yeah. We're going to kick off into that.
I can if you want, but I think my vampire is going to win.
Really? Okay.
So I talked about it on the show once before, but I watched Castlevania. Finished it, or what all of it is out.
On Netflix?
Yes. It's based on the game, whatever. And this is not a cartoon for children. It is uber hardcore. There's like the gore in it is very intense. And that's kind of awesome. And they, they're vampires. They can, do vampire things like turn into mist or, bats or whatever. Different ones have different powers. But Dracula's the main vampire or whatever. And what I really like about it though is that like his castle moves, but it's all seems like really sciencey. Like it's not nothing. None of it's magic. You guys are just stupid and you forgot science. But I've been here for thousands of years and I still remember and have all my books and whatever. So you guys are just morons. You think it's all magical, whatever. I love that about it.
So it's like super advanced science, like ancient advanced science.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, maybe I'm sure it's probably a little bit magic. I mean, it's a freaking vampire, but still.
So what's the story of this? Like is the main character a vampire fighting guy?
Simon Belmont?
It starts off where you meet some chick. She meets Dracula. Then it jumps ahead to many years later. They got married and had a kid. And now Dracula's out of town for some reason. And the townspeople burn his wife at the stake. So he obviously gets a little upset and decides he's going to kill all humans. So there's a war between the vampires and the humans, and his son, who is half human, teams up with the vampire slayer and a nomadic magic lady. I forget what they're called. And then they go after Dracula and the other vampires.
Okay. I don't really have it. I know you don't know a whole lot about the game, so I haven't heard too much about it, but I know it now. Is the art style, is it one of those like anime style shows, or is it kind of got its own thing going on?
No, it's pretty anime. Yeah, it looks really. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of its own, but it's like many other anime I've seen. And you know what? The vampires almost do sparkle, not necessarily in the daylight, but they're the kind of thing where they would have like sunshine, like rippling off their hairs or whatever. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're making them really pretty. Everybody in there's really, really pretty. Like the men even are very like feminine looking and attract, like, I don't know, kind of attractive in that certain way, in the androgynous way.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's like, I feel like it started before the 90s, but kind of the Interview with the Vampire, Anne Rice 90s sexy vampire thing.
Yeah.
I just realized I didn't have the appropriate lighting going.
Ooh, a vampire lighting.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's good. There's like other stuff. they make like demons out of dead bodies. That's really cool. And there's weird church stuff that goes on too, but basically, what?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Nope. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, is it good? Did you like it? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I liked it. And I guess I would recommend it. There's like politics and court intrigue that go on in there too. That I don't know. I am interested in, but I don't know that everybody would be. But it's like a bunch of vampires together in a thing. They're all kind of like, trying to fight each other for position, kind of a thing. So that adds another element of it, I guess. And then, yeah.
So it's like the Crown.
Kinda. If the person who was the king was like planning to murder everyone in the world, then yeah. Which maybe they are. I mean, I don't know.
We don't know yet. The
internet told me they drink baby blood. So
she has been alive for a long time.
British royalty? Yeah.
Yeah, you've never heard that? You've never heard that conspiracy theory? Are you serious? Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
What would you say are like its key power set, or that I guess maybe Dracula in this case's key power set that makes him tough? What if we were gonna like say, hey, here's our vampire, this is what they can do, this is why they're gonna win, what would it be?
Well, he's basically a genius, and he's super strong, and he can like chop your head off with his fingernails. Stuff like he eviscerates people left and right, just like walking past them. I mean, he's an evil person, especially when he gets angry. I think he might be able to he can throw fireballs and stuff too. I don't know. There's some weird stuff that he can do but basic super strong vampire stuff. And there are other, like I said, there was other vampires. Like there's one that turns into mist and does some weird stuff, and different ones can do different things. I think one of them turns into a wolf. I don't know why. That seems like the opposite of what vampires do. That's a werewolf. But
is it Dracula is a key character? He's like the main character, isn't
he? No.
No? Okay.
They do follow him a lot, but do you want me to spoiler?
You don't have to. I was just curious because I know that was a power that I think Dracula had, was that he could transform into a wolf.
Oh.
Different kinds of creatures of the night.
I mean, we'll get into it. It depends. Okay, so I think on this specifically, at least because I know 2 of the 3 picks involve Dracula. We're going to run into a lot of characters with similar or the same power sets. But there's always little variations. But yeah, I think this week in particular, we might run into a lot of they all kind of do the same stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesse, you or I? Who wants to go?
I can go, since I can tell you that mine does not have Dracula.
Okay.
I feel like I am woefully outclassed in this division because I didn't realize we were going to do battle later. But so I knew you would be. I was thinking about that. I was like, oh.
By the way, Savannah, I'm not ignoring you. I know you're referencing what we do in the shadows. And
she's killing me in the chat.
There's a reason I have not been addressing your comments, Savannah. There's a reason.
I'm sorry, crawlers. Anyways, we went with Interview with the Vampire. It's interesting that you referenced it earlier. I wanted so badly to.
Oh, that is not at all what I thought you. I thought you were going to do what we do in the shadows.
Oh, I mean, I could do that one, but
no, do Interview
because that's
with
what
the
I've been
Vampire.
watching. Actually, what I wanted to do was Let Me In or Let the Right One In. Like I was going to go. I was going to watch either one of those because that's like probably one of my favorite vampire movies. It's way up there just because it's so different from anything. And it does really cool things with the myth. But I digress. Interview with a Vampire.
Oh,
based on the books by Anne Rice. And I read all of the Chronicles of I want to say Chronicles of Narnia. The interview, all the Vampire Chronicles. I read all of those until she started making new ones, and I was like, no more.
Yeah, there are so many of them.
I read up to Memnoch the Devil, and then it was like, I think this is kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
They met Jesus. So, all right.
Don't get ahead of me, Savannah.
so Interview with the Vampire. I don't know what people do and don't know. That particular story is about Louis the vampire, and he is born a vampire after he's found by Lestat, who is Lestat de Lioncourt, I believe is his full name. Very, very French. He's a very French vampire, and he's definitely French aristocratic, and he's the mean brat prince archetype character that kind of one of the first kind of bad boy vampires of the 90s. I mean, that's kind of when this movie came out, but the books are actually older than that. I don't know how far to get into the weeds on this. Okay. I'm just going to jump into the
You're talking about the movie though, right?
I'm talking about the movie specifically.
Okay.
I know a lot more about the books, and I know a lot more about what the vampires can do.
The water's getting real muddy.
In the movie.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
In the movie, it's their power set is not quite as good as Dracula. In that, it's almost not good at all.
What they don't. So they're very. If I recall correctly, and I'm sorry to step in on your.
Nope, you're good.
They're pretty much they're the very standard vampire, the no frills, other than they're like, super sexy vampires. Like they're very, they sleep during the day, drink blood, and that's kind of their thing. Don't age. They kind
of like throw a bunch of the rules out right off the bat when he starts the interview. Like the legitimate interview part of it, which kind of sets up
Christian
his
Slater.
Story. Yeah, Christian Slater.
I just remember Christian Slater exists.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good in it. He may be one of the best parts of it. Spoilers. Anyways, like they're not immune to they're immune to garlic. That's just nonsense. I don't think crucifixes bother them at all. In the Interview with the Vampire lore, the main things are fire, sunlight, and obviously you get a stake through the heart that kills most things. So that's a whole thing. I believe they can also be not necessarily killed, but they can be completely drained, and then basically kind of a mummified state, in that they just can't do anything because they have no power. They're too weak to do anything. So that kind of thing. That's how you kill them. And the main powers are the speed, the strength. I believe Lestat can fly. I don't believe that Louis can. And Lestat even has some low-key mind reading abilities. Read your thoughts.
Yeah. You're right. There were some weird little. Yeah. Okay.
But they don't delve into it too much in the movie because Louis can't do it, and it's all kind of told from his perspective. But Lestat is read her thoughts.
Mind reading is a pretty good one, though.
Yeah.
Arguably, if you were good at it, that could potentially outdo most physical attacks, I would think.
But they can climb up walls, too. I've seen it.
Yeah.
In that one specifically, I don't think they did. Yeah, I don't remember them doing that in the one.
Santiago can do it. He just does the creepy crawler thing a little bit at one point.
So, Jesse, Interview with the Vampire from the 90s. Is it good? Does it hold up?
So it's interesting because I was thinking about how Oprah walked out of this thing when it premiered. You remember that? It was a huge news because it was just so disturbing, in terms of the blood and gore of this movie in the 90s. And just oh my.
Really?
And now I don't know. There's some racial issues in this movie that it's okay, maybe that's actually why she walked out. And I'd be on board with that. But if it's about the gore, I was I don't think it's that gory, really.
No.
Yeah, I don't remember it being particularly gory.
But the question was, is it good? Your mileage may vary. There's some people that absolutely hate this movie. I don't think it's total garbage. I enjoy it. I watch it every couple of years. So I like it, I guess. Is it good? I don't think so. Probably not.
Really? Okay. I mean, I might be off my mark, but if I recall correctly, most of the people that I had come across, and it's been a long time since I've talked about any Interview with the Vampire with anybody, most of the people that did not like it were big fans of the book. Oh, and they didn't like it for the typical book versus movie thing.
Right. Yeah. All of the movies made off of that series were crap.
I do know that the Queen of the Damned movie was god awful, and I will take 10 interviews with a vampire over that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I did enjoy Interview with Vampire, especially when I was little, and I liked that they had the little kid vampire in it.
Claudia, yeah.
By the way, Savannah, she keeps throwing, for audio listeners, like, why does he keep talking to Savannah? She keeps in the comments throwing out What We Do in the Shadows references. I thought that's what Jesse was doing, so that's why I wasn't addressing your comments. I don't think any of us is doing What We Do in the Shadows, but man, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
They would have gotten slaughtered, I think, against other movie vampires. Not really because of lack of power set, but lack of they're inept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How they got out of the trial, I don't know.
Right. Okay, so also a while back, Paul had said Dracula, where'd it go? I think it was just Dracula from 1931.
Oh, the Bela Lugosi.
The Bela Lugosi Dracula. And he had actually sent me an audio clip from that movie. He's like, here, if you want to use it, you can. And I had to tell him, like, thanks, but no thanks, because much like Dracula, who never drinks wine, I never use copyrighted material in a podcast. And the reason I say that is because the movie or the show I watched is Dracula, but it is, to quote Savannah, that weird Netflix one. It's a series from this year or last year?
This year.
It's a Netflix BBC joint. Dracula.
Was this the Mark Gatiss one?
Yes. Here's what. And I wanted to mention the Bela Lugosi one, because there's a couple lines that I really appreciated in this, where they have Dracula say things like, I never drink wine. Like, there's some references. There's some straight up references, the Children of the Night, what music they make or whatever, like direct references, where I was like, all right, I'll take it. I'll accept that. But here's why I'm super excited, because I didn't know. I started watching this, and then I discovered the Moff is back. The Moff is back.
Oh, that's right. Moffat is on this, right?
It's been so long since we got to talk about Moffat. Yeah, so this is the 3-episode series. It's one of those, it's like Sherlock seasons were, where it's like 3 hour-and-a-half long episodes, and that's the season, except this is just one season. Written by and showrun, created by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss. And I didn't really know anything about it going in, but I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's perfect. Like, some of it's okay. I mean, you'll know what I'm going to say. It's a Moffat thing. It's such a Moffat thing. So predictably, some great ideas. Starts off so strong.
Oh no! Doesn't stick the landing. Oh
no, not perfectly. No. It's Moffat.
Moffat.
That's what he does.
Oh,
that's what I felt like too. Like it started like going up, and then it
like that first episode. Okay, so there's little bits of cheese throughout. That the writing. It's so funny because most of it is a period piece, but the writing feels kind of modern in the way the people and the line delivery feels kind of modern, and it's funny. Like the dialogue, there's intentional, funny, kind of dry, witty dialogue, and I enjoyed that. But at the same time, like it's still going for horror. And I mean, it's not like scary, but there's definitely some gross stuff. It is a lot more like there's more hard edge things in this than I would have expected, given this actually ran on BBC One or whatever. Some pretty gory things. Savannah said there was a weird vampire movie from the 90s that had one of the aunts from the 90s Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Okay. I'm catching up on comments here. So the dialogue was amusing, but at times too Moffat, too Mark Gatiss. Like it went too cutesy, where it's like, okay.
Just tell me there weren't eye boogers, because Mark Gatiss never gets a pass for that.
No, but there was a legitimately gross thing where a fly landed on a dude's eye, and he just stood there and he's looking around. And then it crawls into his eye socket. And I was like, oh, that's pretty gross. But then it was like on the back inside of his eye. And I'm like, how does that work? Okay. That's a good example of like this interesting idea, nice execution, legitimately like gross. Maybe went a step too far. Reel it back. You went just a step into like goofy territory. And the series does that throughout, where it's just like, just a step into goofy, but never so far for the most part that it ruins it for me. After I watched this, I did read some reviews. And, oh, hey, Jenna. Oh my God. Oh, I wish.
Oh, you just hit his sweet spot there.
Fright Night. She's just joining now. Have we talked about the 80s movie Fright Night? I watch that all the time. Yeah, I love Fright Night. I also watch that all the time. They remade it a few years ago with Tenet, of all people, but it's not as good. It's not the same. It's not the same. Fright Night and Near Dark are two of my favorite 80s vampire movies. So good. Nobody talks about Near Dark. Anyhow, I shouldn't get into spoilers. Let me talk about what's kind of interesting about this series, because I think what it does well is, so it's Dracula. Kind of but it's pretty close to the Dracula story.
That is the title, right?
It's pretty close to the Dracula story. It's got the key players, but everything's intentionally changed up a bit. And for the most part, I really like the changes. I think it was interesting, some of the things they did, including like how they handled. So Dracula has a lot of the same like limitations he usually does, but they play with why. Like the crosses is still a thing. It's still like he doesn't like it, but at the same time, like he's not a believer, and he doesn't. It's not like
so
like it's got nothing to do with God. Like that doesn't, that's it's got nothing to do with that. And they changed, and this is slight spoilers for the first episode. This is spoilers for the first episode. We're introduced through, is it Jonathan Harker or whatever?
Oh yeah.
We get his whole stay. It's told he's like, after the fact, he's looking real rough, and basically he's in this wherever nunnery and being interviewed by a couple of nuns. And one of the nuns, who's very not nun-like and doesn't even seem to have any faith, the Lost Boys. I don't know, Lost Boys. It's very campy.
It's got Alex Winter in it.
I don't know what
a sour word about the Lost Boys.
I don't know what
the most famous keeper of all time.
Maybe I need to revisit it. I don't know what happened. Like if I just didn't watch it enough when I was younger. If I didn't let the Stockholm syndrome take hold or something with Lost Boys. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I mean, does it hold up over time? I don't know. Your mileage may vary with that movie, honestly. But I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. And the music, like the soundtrack, that's one of the first like soundtracks that I think I sought out specifically.
Savannah says can't be as good though. It can be. It can be. Can't be.
There's vampires with mullets, dude.
You're not winning me over. I know what it is. But honestly, I don't ever remember sitting down and watching it from start to finish, ever. I feel like it was something that was always on TV, but I, for whatever reason, never actually sat and watched through the whole thing.
I think anything to do with the older brother is boring. That's why I didn't like it.
The Frog Brothers?
No, wait.
Or the main characters?
The main characters. I didn't care. I didn't care about him going and becoming a vampire and whatever. I was like, that dude's a D-bag. And I just wanted to hang out with the Corys the whole time because that was fun.
Who didn't? Who didn't want to? I feel like this premise is flawed. We should have just been addressing the comments the whole time. Anyway, so to hurry up and wrap up my point is like one of the nuns, the one that doesn't seem very nun-like, she is a nun, but she lost her faith. Also, her last name happens to be Van Helsing. So they did a gender switch on Van Helsing, and kind of like, I don't know. That's one of the strongest parts, though. She's a pretty interesting character. Moffat has the tendency, and Mark Gatiss, sorry to diminish his role in this. They have a tendency to like write clever things, and then like, I guess be too self-indulgent. Then be like, oh, look how clever we are. It's like we get that your characters are playing a game of chess, but then you don't then also have to actually set them down and have them playing a game of chess and talking about the game of chess while they're playing an intellectual game. Just stop it. Like, it's not cute.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's on the nose, you
got to make the metaphor visual and literal.
Right. But that said, each of the 3 episodes is pretty interesting. The first one is like basically Harker's in the castle most of the time, his whole stay, and I feel like that's the most effective and interesting, and that introduces a lot of. So the big changes to Dracula are like the vampire lore in general is it is like I don't know if it's a virus or what, but it is this curse where the people they're the undead, but most vampires in this aren't intelligent. It's like they lose something. And Dracula's rare in that he was able to not only not lose his humanity or his like intelligence, but he figured out how to basically improve himself. And there's this conceit in it that's kind of interesting to where through drinking the blood, they absorb part of that person's knowledge. And so that's his whole thing. Like he's carefully curated who he drank to remain intelligent or something, some weird thing.
He's a blood snob.
Yes. He's a connoisseur. No, yeah, totally.
Smells like cherries and oak.
Wait.
Neurosurgeon.
Is that why the other vampires are lacking? Because they like drink from animals or something?
I guess the only ones you really see are the ones his brides, the ones he makes, and then he feeds them like crap, like rats and.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Vampire Baby. Vampire Baby, and it was pretty hardcore. So I was like, I'm kind of on board with the show now. Vampire Baby. If that's
the case, that explains a lot about Interview with the Vampire, because all I need to do, Louis, to find you is follow the trail of rats. Not a Louis, no, lowbrow. That's like the Bush Light of vampire blood right there. Rats.
Savannah says, I want vampires living in the Star Wars realm. Wars realm.
That'll make some nerds mad. Let's do it.
Count Vader.
Count Vader. Oh man, that would suck.
Jenna mentioned Nosferatu on AMC, which I've noticed on Hulu. She said that it's totally different take on vampire. Is it good? Because I hate that title so much. It's NOS 4 ATU or whatever. I hate it. It's like, is that his license plate? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I kind of hate it.
The logo is a license plate that says that. Yeah.
If you're gonna do that though, I told this to Randy too. If you're gonna do that though, you need to make the A 0 and say ought. So it's Nosferatu too.
Right. Savannah said Vampire Baby is not okay in What We Do in the Shadows. I forgot that one had Vampire Baby as well. Yeah.
There's lots of Vampire Babies.
The Dracula Vampire Baby is much more like Train Spotting Baby. It's like what? It doesn't look particularly great, but it's also like, yeah, that's an undead baby and it looks gross. So
no,
they did it. BBC One.
And real quick, an aspect of the vampire thing, which I don't know that they really had many vampire babies, but Dracula had a baby with his human wife, and in the show, he ends up fighting his dad and stuff. He was a full-grown adult, but I think he was like 15, because he aged really quickly, and you don't think about that till after a bunch of hardcore stuff happens, and they're talking to him, and they're like, "So you're like just a real man child. You're a teenager in an adult body." And he's like, "I mean, yeah, basically." And they're like, "Oh, damn," and he's going to war with Dracula. I mean, 15-year-old in a grown-up body going to war with his dad, Dracula. It's an emotional time for him. These are really emotional vampires, by the way. They get sad and they get mad, and they have ridiculous tempers.
I will say that's something that definitely, that crosses over to my Dracula as well, because I'm not going to get into how it ends. And I liked the very, very end. And even if the last episode was questionable because it was just kind of sloppy, although it did have some of the funniest moments, I do like this Dracula, though. The portrayal of him and the way he's written, like, he is like a blood snob, but also like, he's just kicking it. He's also evil. He'll cut off a nun's head with a sword and then sit there and be like, I'm not gonna go to the trouble of attacking all of you nuns, but I'll make these wolves do it.
Matthew McConaughey of vampires. Now I want to be like, well, all right, who brought the blood?
Not that laid back, but now I want to see that.
All right.
I want Matthew McConaughey Dracula.
I want to see Matthew McConaughey Dracula and Jeff Bridges, the dude vampire, in a fight.
It's like
not fighting at all.
They get older, I stay the same age.
Like, that's just like your opinion, man.
I was sitting in my Lincoln drinking blood.
There's a blood beverage here, man.
Right. All right. So, oh man, I don't know. I lost it. I do want to say one thing. So being able to turn into a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
This Netflix Dracula, his version of turning into a wolf, I think I'd pass, because the wolves show up, and one of the nuns is towards the end of the first episode is like, I know it's you, blah blah blah. Why don't you transform back to your normal form or whatever? And the wolf looks like it's in pain, jumps up on its hind legs, then falls over. And then Dracula has to rip out of the wolf and climb out of the wolf's gut. And
what?
He's naked and covered in goo, and then has this long scene standing there covered in goo and naked. I'm like, no, I'll pass on all that. If that's what you got to do to travel by wolf, I don't need to be given birth by a wolf every time I need to travel somewhere. That's nasty.
That is bizarre.
And the whole time it's like, dude, throw him a towel. I know he's a bad guy, but throw him a towel, man. Let him clean up. That's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would just, declare bat and fly.
Yeah.
Right.
Just do that, or turn into mist. Dracula can do that, right? You're just like, I'm the fog now.
Yeah, that was super cool. Oh, you know what? Castlevania might be a little racist too. I'm just saying, the Mist Lady was very Asian and kind of fought in a specific way. And then there was one that was Scottish, and he wore a kilt and was drunk all the time and had
super typical characters.
Yeah, so there's that too. And I don't know, they get naked and do stuff too. There's nudity and gore. Be careful when you watch it. I'm just saying.
Castlevania. Okay. All right. Well, let's end the reviews. This is going on too long, and that didn't work perfectly. But hey, Jasper, you've heard all this stuff. You've said like nothing. Which vampires win?
I am very fond of the Netflix Dracula. I like him. I like the suave.
Oh, you've seen him? Have you seen it?
Yeah, that's why I was commenting on a couple things. Yeah, I've watched that. I think the only thing I missed is a little bit of the last one, or I've watched it. I just don't remember. But I love how he was just kind of like cool about everything.
Okay. Well, then hearing about Jesse's vampires and hearing about Melanie's Dracula, do you think he would beat them? Suaveness aside?
He might have trouble with
Tom Cruise crazy.
Vampire.
Yeah, Tom Cruise crazy vampires. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the way I would have guessed. Because that Dracula he is suave. He is evil. His power set is kind of weird, nebulous. Like he never turns into mist, but he does blow a mist cloud out of his mouth that follows a ship for like weeks. What? How does that happen? Okay. So that said, like I feel like I haven't watched Castlevania, but I feel like a more ruthless version of him might take him out.
Mm-hmm.
But
a more ruthless version of Castlevania?
Of Dracula. Just of Dracula. We have 2 Draculas here.
Yes, you're right.
All the Draculas are going to fight.
Right.
This was listen.
Well, I will just say
maybe I didn't think this idea through.
if the vampires were like the vampires from the Anne Rice series and had the powers of some of those vampires, and well, maybe even Lestat, but definitely some people that he knew, they would kill all those vampires with quickness, ease. So, if anything, Anne Rice's book vampires win, I say.
That mind reading.
That's just one of them, but I mean, like we're sticking to that particular movie. So
Queen of the Damned was a crap movie, but she could blow people up with her mind.
Those vampires had some more powers, bigger powers.
All right, hey chat, what do you guys think? Also, are your vampires better?
My vampires is all better. You know what vampire I really was always kind of interested in, even though I didn't like the movie? You remember that one where it was a chick vampire and she like eat mobsters or something and then dispose of them. But one time she was eating one of the mob guys. And what's that movie called? I don't know. But she was French too, I think. But she was eating one of the mob guys and like got shot at or something. She had to run and he came back, you know.
Is it and is the guy Frank?
I don't know who he is.
I'm
not names.
Langella? Is it Skeletor guy? Not that guy.
Skeletor.
It don't matter.
Okay, yeah, none of this matters. Robert Loggia. Was it Robert Loggia? That's who I was thinking.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You should know Robert Loggia. Everyone should know Robert Loggia.
I don't know names.
Savannah says Jackie Daytona is the best. I don't know what that is.
What?
I feel like this was a success. What monster are we doing next week?
I mean, it was a suck.
Oh,
okay,
a success.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we should do another. Let's do it again next week. Another monster. Maybe we'll handle this section different because I feel like this really drug on and was very unfocused. Maybe not. Maybe listeners will say this was great. Chat, hit us up. Movie monster or horror thing.
Oh yeah, which
next week.
Can I real quick?
Yes,
you can. Address the comment.
Yeah,
Gary Oldman is a great everything. Okay,
that's true.
Gary Oldman was a great Dracula. Yeah,
I really do like Gary Oldman.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I really loved him in was it The Darkest Hour? I just showed my parents a couple weeks ago.
The Darkest Hour?
Yeah, where he plays Winston Churchill. Very good.
I didn't know that was even a thing.
Yep. It's a really good movie. It was 2017, 2018.
Paul says, I think it's safe to say Dracula won, but it's not really, because I think we decided the Interview with the Vampire people might have beat Dracula's.
Powers, maybe, yeah.
I do know this much. My Dracula and the vampire guy from Fright Night, 1980s Fright Night, they would make out. Pretty sure.
I like the odds on that one.
They would make
odds
out.
On favorite for that.
And panties would hit the ground for 10 block radius around it. They wouldn't even have to know.
Well, so I think maybe I know Interview with the Vampire. I'm suspecting now that, and definitely mine, are all kind of homoerotic also. Is that
definitely
safe to say?
Dude, this
It's
Netflix
usually
one,
a little bit, yeah.
So, okay. The Netflix one has an opening scene, then at Netflix Dracula, and then there's a line, and then it hard cuts to title card type situation.
Yeah.
The nun is talking to Jonathan Harker. And the line that it decides to like, and that's when I was like, oh, I'm in it for something special. Not necessarily good, but something special. The line was, did you have sexual intercourse with Dracula? Boom, title card. I'm like, what is this? What is this?
Wow.
First off, it's like 1700. Nobody said sexual intercourse. But okay. No, yeah. The homoerotic theme. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know why, what that is, but it's real in the vampire genre.
Yeah, I know. I wonder, is it just always there? I don't know.
It's just natural when you. Where are the?
What?
Where are the big? I guess there's Queen of the Damned. Well, Dracula is like he overshadows.
He's usually the biggest of the bigs.
I was gonna say, where's the female big bads? But then again, like, where are the other big bads? It's just Dracula and
also Dracula. And, I mean, like we could just go on for days about vampires. Like Dracula and Buffy the Vampire Slayer is so great.
Oh yeah,
remember
him?
He's just like everyone just loves him.
Jenna said my faves: Nandor and Laszlo for comedy. Lost Boys for scary. Is it scary? Lost Boys?
It's got some scaries. It's got the scaries.
The Salvatore brothers for companions.
Ooh, I could have talked about that one. Man, that one goes down a rabbit hole. Or 7.
NBC did a Dracula show that got canceled a few years ago, and she thought it was good. Jonathan Rhys Myers. I'm drawing a blank. Is that his correct name? I'm not sure. She is choosing that for Sexy Vampire. Also, Angel.
Yeah. Speaking of the homoerotic thing, you've always got that like, between him and Spike, and you know that love-hate relationship.
Buffy, and you mentioned the Dracula from Buffy. Like, at least that show knew
the Slayer of the Vampire.
I mean, that's kind of that show. It's very self-aware, but that show knew what vampire. Like, I hate Angel. Not the show. I love the show. The character. I always hated the character of Angel because he's just so like, just kind of like moody. But everybody's like, oh, he's so sexy, and it's like, but he's the perfect like just moody vampire. I think Jasper unplugged himself.
No.
No. I still heard you.
He's turning into a vampire.
There we go.
There he is. Slightly more vampire-like.
I have to go deep into the settings of this camera because it has an auto shut off feature that I thought I shut off.
Oh. Let's not get started on Buffy. We'll totally lose Melanie and Jasper.
Do a whole thing.
Okay, the only thing I really seen, Savannah threw out Frankenstein's Monster for suggestion for next week.
Ooh.
That's a little obvious. Maybe
but it's tricky because like there's not as much of it, you know.
You're right.
Like, yeah. There's a lot of it, but you have to go searching, and I like that idea.
Looks like I'm watching Young Frankenstein again. No, I love Young Frankenstein. No, not necessarily. I do want to try to like. That's part of the reason I like this. Like that Dracula show on Netflix. I don't think I was ever going to watch that. I come across it. I'm just like, the cover looked cheesy, and I'm like, well, it's just Dracula. I'm like, what is that? I don't need that. But I'm glad I watched it. So I like this idea because, and you guys do whatever you want, but I'm going to try to search out things that I've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That sounds wonderful.
It sounds like next week is Frankenstein week. Feed my Frankenstein.
Igor. Feed my Frankenstein. I'm just going to listen to an Alice Cooper song and talk about it.
Just listen to the Alice Cooper over and over.
Yep. That one song. Okay. We can move on. It's been an hour.
All right. What do we do now?
We reacted the news.
We have some news. I'm glad I didn't grab a whole bunch because that segment did go longer than expected. Chat, what did you guys think of that segment? Real talk. Randy is obviously feeling iffy about it.
Also, before we segue away, Gary Oldman, there was a True Romance reference in the chat earlier, and Gary Oldman is a treasure in that. And if you want to hear us gush about how much of a treasure he is in that, you should go check out the Grawlix Cinematic Universe episode where we take True Romance. I don't even. What was it that we paired it with? Pulp Fiction, right? True Romance and Pulp Fiction, I believe, because my pitch had something to do with the druggy characters. And you should check out that episode. It is a lot of fun.
GCU number 22. Yeah, it was True Romance and Pulp Fiction. Yeah,
Karen Thrino.
Jesse joined Jasper and I for that one. GCU will be coming back someday.
Now that we got the setup.
I've just been avoiding anything that requires me to edit.
I feel you.
All right, let's jump at the news. Let's jump at it. We're going to jump at the news. So here's one I noticed. I think Jasper actually sent me this link has sent me a link as well, but I had noticed this just before the show. Ben Affleck, and Michael Keaton both confirmed for The Flash.
Yeah.
The Flash movie.
That's because we know which one it is.
For The Flash. They're just going to be naked and running.
that's the whole movie.
Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton. Odd pair.
A very, very expensive joke that we got the punchline in it, but it kept going for like 2 hours. So is it confirmed that they're both?
Yeah, they're doing Flashpoint.
Yeah, it does seem that way. So yeah, Michael Keaton.
So Batman. Michael Keaton is Batman's dad. Batman, maybe.
I mean, that would make the most sense.
Well, if that's what's going to be. They already established Batman or Ben Affleck as Batman here, so that's got to be the alternate universe Batman.
Also interesting, if true, Affleck said he was done with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't gonna.
And they were like, "Oh, you don't want to be Michael Keaton's son?" And he's like, "I'm back.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman."
I'm Batman.
Also, Snyder cut.
I can see that because he was a big Batman fan, right?
He's got like a bat cave in his house.
He has a bat cave,
right? So getting a chance to work with what I'm assuming was his childhood Batman, of course, I would come back for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty big draw.
I'm intrigued. I was not at all really that intrigued. In fact, I still don't know if this movie's really going to happen. I thought this was canceled ages ago. But it looks like they're still working towards it. And if they're going to take that angle, cool. Okay, do it. I mean, listen, their universe, the cinematic universe is such a mess already. Might as well just embrace it and be like, you know what? It's all of them. It was never the Snyderverse or whatever the people, it's
even better if Pattinson comes in at the end.
Right. Like, who's this guy?
This is the most Batman Flash movie of all time.
I never seen a Batman sparkle in the sunlight. I'm sorry. Somebody had to make the Twilight joke.
Oh, come on.
It's old. I know.
Low hanging fruit.
It is low hanging fruit. And I don't hold that against him.
You haven't even seen the Twilight movies.
I haven't. But you know what? He was in it.
He was in it.
But I don't hold that against him.
And he was sparkly.
And we were talking about vampires.
That's the way it is. Full circle.
Savannah, speaking of Snyder, I watched the first episode of The Watchmen. Now, I don't believe Snyder had anything to do with this Watchmen series. I could be wrong. But what did you think? I really like the Watchmen series.
I did too. I like it. I like The Watchmen.
Who is... Hey, Jasper.
Yeah.
Can you turn your headset down, maybe? Is it you, maybe? Or maybe it's
usually
Jesse.
me. It's
usually Jesse. But hey. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Okay, actually, it might have been Jesse. Okay, anyway, there's not much more. Whatever. That's the story. Let's move on.
Okay.
Now, in news that I know all 2 of us will be excited about. There's 2 of us that will be excited about this one.
It's Melody and Jasper.
Yep, you guys are gonna listen. This is a story for you 2.
Yeah, okay. It's for you.
The Crown season 4 will be back in November. Are you ready? Are you ready? Crown season 4.
I don't know why I love the Queen.
Because she's a lizard baby drinking. Whatever.
Oh, woo!
Savannah said she liked the first episode of Watchmen a lot. Good. It's a good show. Where's the lube man? I want to know what happens to the lube man. You can't throw a freaking lube man in one scene and never come back to it and then end the series.
I know.
Lube man.
And he did his own stuff.
It's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. You guys remember that part? Yeah.
In fact, I take it all back. That show sucks. Where's Lube Man? Hashtag justice for Lube Man.
Lube Man cut.
All Lube Man.
There's a cut for everyone.
Paul says he dried out.
I know who he was, but they didn't really address it though.
I suspect too. Okay, so there again. I know nobody else but me and Jesse are interested, but
yeah, because like Savannah says, she watched 3 episodes of The Crown and got bored.
I don't know how you could get bored.
I don't know. John Lithgow is a treasure in that.
To be fair, I have not finished season 3 yet. I've been meaning to.
I got so good. It's so good.
It's confirmed for 6 seasons. It had to shut down filming early in March because of COVID. But after they're going to be, let's see, what does this say? So Olivia Colman's currently playing Queen Elizabeth. After her, it's Imelda Staunton.
Oh, they're already recasting it for season 4?
No, it'll be 5 and 6.
Oh, okay.
She'll get it after season 4. But yeah, it's confirmed for 6.
I need another season of her.
Right. I agree. Her performance in that is interesting. It's not what I expected, but it is very appropriate, I guess, for the Queen, for the character.
And I also like the guy that they got for the Duke of Edinburgh.
Right. Yes.
Like he's so good.
Not the most likable characters. Any of them. Some of them are. And they're written realistically, not necessarily to their actual real life counterparts, but they're written like real humans, but they're not necessarily likable. All right, moving on. Speaking of, hey, by the way, that's on Netflix. Let's talk about other Netflix things.
Okay.
This is the thing that I didn't even know happened until Netflix apologized for it. Netflix responds to backlash over viral Cuties poster. You guys know anything about this?
I don't know what that is. Okay,
so there's a new show. Is it a movie? It's a movie. It's a French language movie called Cuties, coming to Netflix. And apparently a movie poster had offended some people, and Netflix removed the poster and apologized. And when I seen the headline, I was like, okay, what's this? I was curious, but I was like, this doesn't seem like Grawlix news, and it probably still isn't. But then I seen the poster, I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good decision. So let me pull it up for you.
I just pull it up.
I'm assuming it's this poster. Yeah, it's gotta be. Hold on. People are offended. I'm gonna show you.
I'm gonna show you why.
All right. So the characters are all like age 11, and that's one of the posters for it. And people are like,
oh my, yeah,
we don't like that. We don't like that at all.
Yeah, that's like elementary strippers or something.
Yeah. So, so people were upset, and Netflix, let's see, this is according to cinemablend.com, removed the poster and responded saying, quote, "We're deeply sorry for the inappropriate artwork that we used for Cuties." Also the French title. I'm not going to try to say it because it's French. "It was not okay, nor was it representative of this French film, which won an award at Sundance." I like that. It's like, nor was it representative of this movie, which won an award.
which is legitimate artistic gold.
"We've now updated the picture and description." So yeah, it's again, I'm pulling this from the article because I didn't even know this thing existed before the story. It's a coming of age drama that follows Amy, an 11-year-old girl who joins a group of dancers at a school known as the Cuties, the dancers, I'm assuming, and rapidly becomes aware of her burgeoning femininity upsetting her mother, and blah, 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 coming of age stuff. Blah, 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 blah.
blah, blah.
Woman
blah,
stuff. Blah. But okay, I'm sure it's
coming
fine.
of age.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
And given that's the premise, I kind of understand the concept of the poster.
Right.
But at some point, you got to be like, I'm sure it's one of those things where at some point somebody's like, maybe this is a little too weird.
I would say that was a poor choice, but I also see where they're going because being a female, growing up, you get sexualized really young. You do.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird and it's awkward, and I think it's gross. But yeah, you'll have adult men commenting on you when you're like 11 or 12. So I totally see that being a female coming of age story.
Yeah, it's that thing of like, sometimes satire doesn't come across as satire, especially if you're satirizing. Is that the right use of that word? Sexualization of young girls.
Yeah.
How do you portray that without doing that thing?
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of using that idea. Like that's probably the crux of the story a little bit, but like to actually use that as a marketing, like part of your marketing for the show is not probably smart.
Yeah, I know. I was trying. Sorry, I'm replying to Savannah's comment. I know I was trying to lessen the blow, but yeah, it is. It actually, for me, it was like 8, I think, even. Yeah. Yeah,
it happens when girls are very young, and it's creepy and it sucks. Savannah says.
As soon as you start to grow boobs, it's weird. Okay, go ahead.
That's just one of those stories that I was like, you know what, I'll add this because it's one of those where it's like, oh, there's a backlash. What is it about? What now? And then I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of justified. It's kind of justified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's show the poster.
I could understand if they put like one kid in there in a weird pose, but then had like something else to balance it out, like shock or something to say, oh, this isn't a happy time thing that we're showing, Yeah,
I think where it really fails in like being a satirical like poster is there's no context to it other than it's very young girls in like look like a stripper. It looks like the cover of Magic Mike or something, like a stripper deal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's move on, I guess. MGM shakes up Orion Pictures with a focus on diversity. We're just hitting all those stories. We're hitting all the stories that certain people will be like, it's all this. SJW.
Comfortable.
If you didn't go to the DNC to get mad, you came here. Ready.
Okay, so MGM, this is coming from Los Angeles Times. They're rebooting. Hollywood reboots itself. They're rebooting its Orion Pictures label, which is, which they've kind of like reinvented a few times.
Right.
Now, if you're like me, I associate Orion Pictures with certain especially 80s and 90s movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's the logo pops up in front of a bunch of movies, obviously, but I can't think of which one specifically.
Bill and Ted.
In fact, they've got Bill and Ted Face the Music and a couple other projects coming out on under the imprint, basically Orion Pictures, and then they're going to reboot it. And basically, let's see what it say. Producer Alano Mayo, who previously served as head of production at Michael B. Jordan's Outlier Society, will lead the relaunch unit as its president, the Beverly Hills-based studio said in a release. Currently, Orion has a 5-person team, and they will all leave. They're getting the boot, or I don't know, getting moved somewhere else. And Mayo's going to come in and said the unit will, quote, concentrate exclusively on underrepresented voices and authentic storytelling in film with a focus on films that amplify underserved voices, end quote. So yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Diversity.
Yeah. Which is fine. It's weird to do it with the Orion label specifically.
Right. It seems like repackage an old label, though. I mean, there's no reason not to do it. It just seems weird because that's not what people will associate with it going in. So it's like fighting an uphill brand battle to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, that's kind of that's what's weird about it to me is, yeah, it's got an association. I had to highlight Paul's pun.
It's good. It's pretty good.
He said, audio listeners, so MGM already has a few titles under Orion's belt.
I feel like they have a few stars too.
I mean, I guess if it's one of the things is like, well, what do we got? That's, we got Orion Pictures. Okay, well, let's just rebrand that. Or I guess that's probably easier than starting a new imprint, or just being more inclusive in your general releases in general, because that's kind of the thing. Apparently they've been scrutinized for a lot of, I think, studios, lack of diversity in both the screen and in the workplace, says LA Times. So it's just weird to then well, here you get this special little label. Right. You guys go here.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily
yucky.
I don't feel like that's necessarily where they're coming at it from, but that's one way.
You're darned if you do, and you're darned if you don't in this situation, because if you don't, if you just say, okay, we just need to do it generally, that's a great thing to say, but it seldom actually happens. So at least having an imprint is a step, but also you have to make sure that it goes beyond that step. It has to be just a step. Right. This is just the first step, but the work has to get done to the point where, it grows beyond this one little piece. It needs to be the whole, that's the whole problem, though. You need to make, I guess, progress is progress.
Yeah, I guess.
It also could be a thing of it seems like they don't know what to do with the Orion brand. Apparently, MGM didn't buy it until they bought it and its library of properties in 97. Most recently, they revived it in 2017 as its distribution arm focused on low-budget movies with specific audiences. Under Hegman, I didn't catch his first name, who had earlier served as president of Blumhouse's experimental BH Tilt label. Maybe that's what I was talking about last week when I was like, didn't Blumhouse when we did the Welcome to the Blumhouse?
Yeah.
I was like, didn't they already have their own like weird, like let's just channel some cheap horror movies over there? Anyway, maybe it wasn't doing great anyway, and they're just like, we don't know what to do with this, but we want to do this diversity thing. I don't know. Hey, I'm not going to criticize again, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, Warner Media investigating Justice League production amid new Ray Fisher claims. So this is
Ray
on
Fisher, man.
even though maybe this Ray Fisher, maybe that's not the tone we should hit. But
well, no.
We've talked about this. Like... It's the thing. It's come up several episodes now. Because remember, we don't talk about gossip.
Right? No.
Where Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg in Justice League, is basically like, "Hey, Joss Whedon's a d-bag. Jeff Johns is a d-bag. They were crappy on set. They threatened my career, and on and on." Basically, it's like it was a bad work environment, and now he's just been telling everybody. He's been shouting it from the Twitter rafters.
You tell him that's what happens when you work with genius. Look at what's her name from Shining. She lost her hair. Come on. Did you lose your hair?
Oh, dude, Stanley Kubrick in this day and age, like dude, he'd have been canceled, I bet.
Oh, big time. Yeah, he probably should have been. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, talk about abusive.
Yes, he should have.
So sometimes it gets results. Which was Melanie's point.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's got to the point where somebody at Warner Media is like, okay, they're going to like look into it. Yeah, we'll look into it, which doesn't seem convincing. But according to this, let's see. Fisher had said in a tweet that I believe this investigation will show Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon, John Burke, and others grossly abused their power during the uncertainty of AT&T's merger with Time Warner. Thanks to Warner Media and AT&T for making strides to ensure a safe workplace for all. But where's the information? Sorry, everybody. This is coming from Variety, by the way. I'm trying to find the information. Basically, they're just launched an investigation into the production of Justice League. Just to kind of, I don't know, I guess, look into it, see what happened. That's it. That's the whole story.
That's the whole story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sorry, I know there's not a whole lot to comment on that. But you know what? We always have stuff to say about.
Oh, I do know.
Speaking of Justice League. Snyder Watch. It never gets old.
It never does. That intro doesn't anyways.
Slowly and slowly, I'm just going to replace the whole show. It's just going to be a series of short intro clips. Slowly.
I'm game for it.
Zack Snyder drops first Snyder Cut video with shots of Cyborg and resurrected Superman. Oh, I'm getting middle fingers from the chat. Thanks. Glad you're enjoying it, guys. This is for you, Paul. It's fun for me. So
Oh.
I don't know if I can even show this though.
Show it. Do it.
I'm just going to switch over to there's Twitter. There's a Twitter post. I don't know why it's on this. Like the article lists to this tweet by some person who has like 300 something followers. That's like not an official. I don't know. It was very short. That's okay. Maybe just probably still long enough to get flagged on YouTube. Yeah, whatever. It's a super short video of Justice League with what looks like Snyder Cut footage, although it's so vague. But whatever. August 22nd is coming up. That's the DC Fandom thing, and they're we're probably going to get like a more proper if you, Savannah says, probably going to get a more proper, longer video.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, just turn on the theatrical cut, desaturate those colors, turn the brightness down real low. You're halfway there.
Oh my.
That's it. There's like nothing to this story. When you see Cyborg's feet, I mean, he was in the movie.
They're like, bum, bum, bum. They're like cosplayers' feet that are waiting for the Snyder Cut.
It's footage of cosplayers.
Cosplay feet.
HBO finally releases the Snyder Cut, and like they went super cheap on all the reshoots. It's not even the same people. It's just cosplayers acting out the extra parts poorly. No effects. Oh, that's the Snyder Cut I want.
I like how Paul is not impressed by the obvious boots on the ground imagery going on there. What do they do? They got boots on the ground.
They're man, okay. I know. Listen. Oh, Savannah, by the way, theatrical cut of Dr. Sleep is way better than the theatrical cut of Justice League.
I never did get to see it, but I like some of the extended cut stuff looked interesting. So,
this story is a good highlight of like, this is such a nothing story. Like, why they're really going to take the time to write up a whole article on that. And I realized the irony of like, we just took the time to do a segment on the podcast of it. But yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's like no real info there.
Mm-hmm.
Same like, you know, and there's no real info here. Wow. When it comes to the Snyder Cut segment, the story isn't the story. The segment is the story. That's for me.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Hey, Jasper.
Yes.
So what you been doing lately?
Oh, just trying to get everything set up. Starting to make some YouTube videos.
Are you? You got a channel?
Yep. Yeah, it's just Carranzo right now. There's no videos on it yet.
How do you spell that? Because I don't even know what you said.
Carranzo?
Koranso. Oh wait, never mind. That's my Twitter handle. No, been doing some test recording with the game Fear. Thought that'd be kind of a funny one to do, like horror game at first, and then gonna start streaming.
All right.
This thing here.
When you doing it?
Not sure yet. I got to get some. I don't want to. I learned this from Randall. I haven't set a date because I know if I set a date, it won't happen. So,
that's not a bad point.
I've been just getting everything set up, learning OBS, trying to see if I can get somehow a cheaper Adobe Premiere to do the YouTube stuff. But
just
yeah,
for editing or
for editing, and then
look into Elements.
Yeah, and then
DaVinci Resolve you can download for free. It's not bad.
Yeah, I've also heard I watched a video where they put those two against each other, Adobe Premiere and DaVinci, and it didn't seem like DaVinci was bad or anything, but they said that Adobe was more plug and play. But yeah, I've been trying to just get used to the system, trying to get used to the mixer, the soundboard mixer, the camera, how that acts, and then like I said, right there,
the camera goes black.
And you couldn't have timed that better. You're already good at this,
right? But yeah, just trying to figure that out because I'm not doing it through a cam link. I'm doing it through my capture card. So I think that's another reason why it kind of shuts off because it doesn't see it as it's being used. But yeah, just been working on that, trying to get that settled, squared away.
That's not going to work. I'll just let you know because it doesn't matter how many years we've been doing this. Almost every time, Randy will be like, "Why isn't it freaking working?" And he does stuff every day, pretty much. And
you'll never really learn it. You'll just get it to a point where it decides to work for some reason, and then you just stop touching it until it stops.
That's how I was, because I hooked up everything. I hooked up the dual monitors, the capture card, and the camera, and nothing turned on. Okay. Then I went to turn the camera on, and the computer shut down.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So I was like,
I
just fried my freaking expensive computer. I'm dead. The fiance is going to kill me because I just killed her computer she donated to the cause. So
yeah, but you didn't.
Nope, everything is working now. Except this thing. Me and him are going to have words.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh really? What movie was it?
Yeah, what movie was that?
What movie was it, Randy?
That's how we tell the time too.
I was like, yeah, I was real confused. Are we talking about numbers?
11:15.
Jojo Rabbit, because Jesse had mentioned it was on HBO.
Yeah.
Oh, I still need to
Melanie
watch
and I
that.
watched it.
Oh, I gotta get to that before it disappears because HBO
I heard
Max
it's
is
really good.
cagey like that.
Mhm.
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I rated it pretty high. I don't know if I didn't rate it 5 stars. I don't know if I go 5 stars, but it was pretty good. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah. You want to know what I heard today? I never really watched The Sound of Music, but apparently the Von Trapp family that it was about in real life, their house in Germany, after they left, and it became the house of what's that one guy's name? He was like a big general guy in the Nazi army, like Heimlich or something. I don't remember it actually.
Heimlich.
It's not Heimlich, but it
They
sounds.
have a maneuver.
Oh, you beat me to it.
I don't know, but he was good friends with Hitler, and Hitler would come and stay with him at that house sometimes. So there you go. Hitler lived in the house from Sound of Music.
Sound of Music. That's weird. It's
Yeah.
also weird to hear somebody talk about Hitler, like, he was good friends with him. They'd go and they'd have like dinner play dates and slumber parties.
Yeah, they did.
Yole-hee-hoo.
They turned the church, the chapel, into their beer keg storage because Nazis are evil.
I mean, if you got a place, you might as well store it there, I guess. I don't know.
This is man cave. Nazi man cave. What you doing? This is Nazi man cave. Stop it.
This is Nazi man cave.
All right. We gotta stop that.
Did you think I was going too far?
You never know. Gene Simmons is selling his Malibu hideaway for $2.2 million.
Malibu.
I know
That's
it says
a kiss
Malibu,
of death right there.
but is that a word?
It should be.
Is that where you? That's either peekaboo with Melanie, or that's your place. That's like your island.
My happy place.
It's your happy place, Malibu.
Yep.
I wonder if you can rock and roll all night in that house.
Only if you party every day.
Party every day, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll see myself out.
That was dynamite. As he drinks out of
Gene
that cup.
Simmons kiss or exercise guy? I'm assuming kiss.
Yeah, exercise guy is like Van Halen or something like that.
I
It's
hate
Kiss. It's not Van Halen.
so much.
It's whoever the cocaine clown from Metalocalypse is based on.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that he'd be Van Halen, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Okay.
Or what's his name from whatever.
Yeah.
Anything else? Nope. Okay. Hey, Melanie.
Yes.
Anything we should be amazed about?
Okay. So there's actually lots of things. There's been lots of advances in quantum stuff. They found a way to make quantum states last 10,000 times longer. They figured out how to beam quantum messages from satellites, and they caused the first observed interaction of time crystals, which will help in quantum computing also.
Jesse just had the same visual reaction that I had. Time crystals.
Yes, time crystals. Hold on. Here, I'll
Like
get
the
a
ones
little
the Klingons guard in Star Trek.
I don't understand this.
They're real.
As with everything that Melanie like tells me about, I'm like, but I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. And she tries to explain it. I'm like, no, it doesn't help. That's still like, I don't understand. It's because it's smart stuff. It's not because Melanie can't explain things. It's because it's beyond me.
Okay, so here.
Talk about its oscillations or whatever it was.
Exactly. I'm trying to find where it has it written down. Time crystals are different from a standard crystal like metal or rocks, which is composed of atoms in a regularly repeating pattern in space. Except time crystals, they have atoms that regularly repeat in time and not in space. It oscillates in time instead of in space. So that's why they call them time crystals. And now they just put two of them together in like this super cool helium mix and made them interact with each other, which is awesome and amazing. And, another crazy, ridiculous breakthrough that we don't even know what to do with right now,
I understand how a thing oscillates.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in space. The thing that really got me, because it's closest to the thing that I can comprehend as like, okay, but also I don't understand at all, is oscillating in time, but not space. What?
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to look it up on my own time, but it fascinates me and bewilders me. I don't understand it.
Okay. Well, anyway, it should
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to derail you.
Well, I can try to find more if you want.
Just find me a way to rip.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to find.
I should have been reading it. Crystals exhibit the bizarre property of being in constant repeating motion in time despite no external input. Their atoms are constantly oscillating, spinning, or moving first in one direction and then the other in time. Yeah. So that's exciting. You know what? They exist and they're going to change the future or make the future, whatever you want to say.
This is why people don't believe scientists anymore.
Okay.
It sounds like magic. Like,
wait
a minute. They don't actually oscillate in space.
No,
how do they oscillate then? Like at all? Like,
well, I just told you how they're constantly moving back.
I know,
Okay.
but that it's like you're trying to explain fire to a caveman.
We're always doing the Flash face thing from the Flash.
I don't know. I don't know if they can change the past. That's a good question. I know where you what do you call it? Where you link to like photons, that makes quantum work, where they entangle different
quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement, yes. When they do quantum entanglement, that can affect the past and the future somehow. We don't really understand, but it can, because they've done studies that prove that it does. Like, something happens to this one. I don't know. There's all kinds of studies. So what you got to do is you got to go back to college. You got to take several years of math and even more of physics, and then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay.
I feel like these studies created the Berenstain Bears instead of the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
I think that's science.
They've got those large hadron colliders. They're constantly banging stuff together and making weird little quirks and stuff. Who knows what reality altering things they could be doing, and we don't even know.
All right, you guys have convinced me. I'm not wearing masks anymore. The climate is fine. I'm going back to school right now, even if the schools are closed. They're not, but they shouldn't be. And
taking deep breaths as you go.
That's what you took away from that.
That's what I took away.
That's what you took away from that.
No, I just like that. Like, we're so not the like we're not anti-science people, but anytime like the concepts get real heady, I'm just like, science, what do they know?
What does this even mean? Come on.
Science, what do they know?
This is that new math, isn't it?
The new math.
That's that Common Core science, isn't it? Yes.
Common Core science is really great. It's like it helps explain how the universe actually works.
The Common Core's concept is just it happened. We're here.
No, like the time crystal thing. I'm sure I could read some stuff and be like, well, okay, that's interesting. I still don't get it. And the scientists are probably like, well, it's this. I still don't quite get it. But like, there's no scientist wants to explain that to any like random Joe off the street because they're just gonna be like, listen,
witches,
magic, witches.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a big part of it because so much of it is kind of just theoretical stuff that it works. We don't know why it works. We have no clue why it works, but we know it does work. So we're going to run with it. And that's probably the scariest part to me is, I mean, sure, it works, but do you know what it's doing besides all that? Because, we have a bad habit of being like, I think lead in our gas would be a great thing.
Right.
And then,
I think affecting the past and the future at the same time sounds scary.
Yeah.
It sounds scary to me.
Yeah. But the US already like commissioned the building of a quantum like internet or something. I'm like,
of course,
wait, did we actually get that far yet? Can we do that? I don't know, but we're building.
Entanglement.
This week, oh man, that reminds me. I think I missed a meeting today. This week, I was talking to a guy from the UK, and he was like, I would assume that you guys over there have amazing internet and stuff, but I hear things like, the internet connections aren't good and places in Michigan don't have clean water. And I'm like, what? I thought you guys were a first world country. And I was just like, I had nothing to say. I was like, dude, so did we. We thought that too.
We had a lot of assumptions that were proven wrong this year.
So like, listen, I'll believe, like, sure, they'll set up some quantum internet. We ain't gonna see it, at least not out here.
No.
So, okay, I won't read it because it's gonna get too political.
Yeah, I know, because I have a good response, but it's all super political, so let's not do that.
All right.
Nobody wants to hear our politics anymore.
No, you guys came for the sexy vampires.
Yeah.
My only question ever has been, why can't we just be liberally conservative? Okay, I'll see myself out. I'm going this way.
That makes everyone mad.
Because then you're right.
Why I say it.
I hate both words.
Or conservatively liberal. You never know.
I hate words. I just hate words. That's why we Grawlix everything. Just replace everything with symbols. Like Prince.
Just everything's gonna be Prince now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The political party formerly known as Prince. I'm voting that. Voting Purple Rain for 2020.
Sounds like a wartime thing. He will bring purple rain.
Ooh, look at that epic movie trailer voice going there, Jasper.
I had to bring it back.
All right, let's end this show. Hey, everybody. I don't know where to go, man. I'm off my game. I don't know what's going on.
We took a right and we haven't come back.
That's America.
It's because everybody's...
You don't want to get political. It's happening. It's happening.
Oh, you did it.
You're ranting off before you
gonna get nuts. Let's get nuts.
It's as they say along a long enough time frame. All Grawlix podcast episodes go political.
Maybe true.
It's not something they say. What were you gonna say?
We affect the past and the future.
It's true.
Nothing. It's dumb.
I mean, what we're talking about is super intelligent. So,
right.
Go for it.
I gotta point out the fact that does not look like Randy's hand touching his beard.
It's not. What if I raised what if I was raised two hands somehow? The third.
So there's a vampire in the apartment with Randy. Bat.
All right. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're listening in the future through one of your time crystal devices. And you can check out more at grawlixpodcast.com. We're doing this every week we're doing this every week. 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m., which means 8:20 p.m. Central Time. 8:30.
8:30.
On Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We're streaming. We're everywhere. We're streaming it everywhere. We're casting a wide net.
Yep. On the quantum net.
Search for Kronzo on YouTube and subscribe.
Do it.
And then unsubscribe and go to Grawlix Podcast on YouTube and double subscribe.
You son of a.
All right. Bye, everybody. Take it easy. Have a good weekend and all that.
Yep.
Later.